One Zambia, one nation. Hello and welcome to Zanis News. To present, my name is Henry Himonde. A look at the top stories in our news. President Hakainde Hichilema among BRICS group of nation leaders. Kanyama gets first ever eye clinic. Government to invest in talent identification. And UPND praised for progressive developmental policies. Here now is the news in detail. President Hakainde Hichilema has proposed that the BRICS summit be used as a stepping stone for coordination between BRICS and Africa for effective response to global social, political, economic, and environmental challenges. The president said this during the BRICS Africa Outreach and BRICS Plus Dialogue meetings being held in Johannesburg, South Africa, and chaired by the country's President Cyril Ramaphosa. More in the following report.
The 2023 BRICS Summit being held in Johannesburg, South Africa, has entered day 3, with 65 heads of states and governments in attendance. President Hakainde Hichilema, who is also chairman for the Common Markets for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA, is also attending this crucial and important summit. And in his address to the summit, President Hichilema underscored the significance of such summits in bringing about economic emancipation, especially for emerging economies.
Africa, as we have already acknowledged, pays a higher cost of capital than any other on the globe. Certainly, the BRICS platform could and should be used to work through, to expedite the reform processes around this issue, which is inhibiting development, which our young populations much need to create opportunities for education, health, business, work, as it were, and other life-improving activities. Secondly, Mr. Chairman, to address access to technology. Access to technology so we can then engage in the genuine and mutually beneficial partnerships which we keep talking about all the time.
Chinese President Xi Jinping said the BRICS will help to bridge the gap between developed and emerging global economies.
This membership expansion is historic. It shows the determination of BRICS countries for unity and cooperation with the broader developing countries. It meets the expectation of the international community and the common interests of emerging market countries and developing countries. The expansion is also a new starting point for BRICS cooperation. It will bring new vigor to the BRICS cooperation mechanism, further strengthen the force for world peace and development.
Russian President Vladimir Putin, who spoke via video link, said the BRICS is not in competition with any economy or nation, but is there to offer solutions to emerging global challenges such as climate change, COVID-19 and poverty alleviation. Meanwhile, the BRICS bloc, which only had a 5 membership, has expanded with 6 new members, bringing the total number of its membership to 11. The newly added member countries include Argentina, Iran, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Ethiopia, and Egypt. The BRICS community represents over 42% of the global population, 30% of the world's territory, 23% of the gross domestic product (GDP), and 18% of global trade and investment. The 2023 BRICS Summit theme is Partnership for Mutually Accelerated Growth, Sustainable Development, and Inclusive Multilateralism. Later, President Hichilema held a closed-door bilateral meeting with a delegation from Saudi Arabia, where pertinent issues of mutual interest, such as trade and investment, were discussed. Kalan Uchima, reporting for Zanis, Johannesburg, South Africa.
The Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock Permanent Secretary Anna Songolo says government is committed to resuscitating the livestock sector to enhance access to high-quality breeding stock at a minimum cost. Ms. Songolo says government, through the Golden Valley Agricultural Research Trust, is revamping the Batoka Livestock Development Center to support the growth of the sector through the production of improved breeds to empower local communities. We have the details in the following report.
Government is making positive strides towards the growth of the livestock sector through increased investment in research and development. The multi-million Batoka Livestock Development Center, now managed by the Golden Valley Agricultural Resource Center, is poised for increased production of high-quality livestock breeds.
It is a center which is supposed to produce animals that can be afforded by smallholder farmers, whether for dairy or beef. And this mandate has not been afforded or accorded the level it was supposed to be at. And with the coming of GATT on board, a number of initiatives have been put into place to drive the institution towards its expected level of being a center of excellence in livestock research and development.
Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock Permanent Secretary Annie Songolo and Ministry of Agriculture Permanent Secretary Green Bozi, also accompanied by Southern Province Permanent Secretary, toured the institution to appreciate its operations.
And the work that has been done is very impressive. We've seen the electricity has been harnessed from way across the road, more than 3 kilometers to here. We've dug more boreholes. We are now utilizing this beautiful resource. Research and development is the core backbone of improving the livestock sector. And that's what we hope to do here. We are going to research into chickens, into goats, into cattle.
Right, especially that we had a lot of infrastructure. Of course, it was not very well taken care of. For instance, we have just come from the dam, which has quite a lot of water and is not being utilized. And all we need now to do is clear the land, as we are seeing here. They are starting with the first 25 hectares to clear to plant wheat, possibly before the next season for wheat planting.
For Southern Province Permanent Secretary Namani Monze, this investment must empower local communities.
Earlier on, it was about resuscitating GATT, Batoka Livestock Center. And now we see that we have accomplished that. Then we must move in the next phase. How does GATT start interacting with the community? How does the community get the benefits of this institution, whose mandate actually is breeding livestock, so that our farmers can get the livestock at a cheaper, not just livestock, but quality livestock at a cheap and affordable price.
Kalunga Msonda, Zanis News, Congo District, Southern Province.
Meanwhile, the Zambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, ZACI President Chabuka Kawesha says Zambia has established a high level of confidence in the last 2 years due to an enabling environment in the promotion of investment. Dr. Kawesha says in the last 24 months, the country has attracted a number of investment from different countries interested in both the manufacturing and the textile industries. Muna Chwende has more in the following report.
The manufacturing sector is regarded as the backbone of both social and economic development. During the presentation of the 2023 National Budget, Minister of Finance Tumbeko Musokotwane disclosed that the Lusaka South Multi-Facility Economic Zone, MFEZ, had attracted more than 30 companies with a total pledged investment of $230 million and 400 jobs. Zambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, ZACI President, highlights the progress that Zambia has made in the manufacturing industry.
The numbers we are seeing in terms of investments, interest in Zambia, really are ones that we must work around now to ensure that based on the transparency, the liberalized market that we've enhanced, the predictability of operating in our market that has been enhanced. We begin to actualize those investment interests that have been established in Zambia.
Mr. Kawesh also encouraged government to formulate more policies to attract more investors.
Regards to areas related to manufacturing, we are encouraging government through the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Commerce, to look at ways of and policies and measures that can attract investors to land processing plants in Zambia.
And Private Sector Development Association chairperson explains the current and past situation in the manufacturing sector.
We are looking at skills. We are importing people from other countries, from Zimbabwe, from Kenya, from South Africa, to come and do works that Zambians should be doing in Zambia. Why? Because our skills base has been eroded. And the reason why it was eroded is because we changed, transformed most of our trades training institutes and colleges into universities, into blue-collar and white-collar training centers. In other words, not training skills, but giving people certificates and diplomas in social sciences. What we are hoping to see in the 2 years that we've had a new government in place is the actualization of the value of the Ministry of Technology and Science, which is to claim back the trades training institutes and begin to make them do what they were designed to do, which is to train skills. And the Ministry of Technology and Science ought to be doing this in partnership with the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises to be able to identify what kind of skills are we looking at that we want to develop our people to have.
Munachwende for Zanis in Lusaka.
In the health sector, Operation Eyesight Zambia says 80% of cases of blindness in communities could have been avoided if adequate health promotion, prevention, and curative measures were put in place. And residents of Kanyama Township in Lusaka will no longer cover long distances to seek eye health services following the official opening of an eye clinic at Kanyama Level 1 Hospital. Here are the details.
Operation Eyesight Zambia has handed over an eye clinic built at a cost of 250,000 kwacha and fully furnished with eye care equipment worth 25,000 United States dollars. This development is in line with government's decentralization policy and is aimed at mitigating sight challenges faced by residents of Kanyama Township.
And as government, we talk about decentralization. We are taking services from central level not only to the next level of hospitals.
We are going to manage our patients with utmost quality and safety.
Operation Eyesight Zambia Deputy Board Chairperson Albert Ngandu says 80% of cases of blindness in the communities could have been avoided.
In Zambia, 80% of cases of blindness in our communities could have been avoided if adequate health promotion, prevention, and curative measures had been in place. 50% of these cases are due to cataract infections, with other causes being glaucoma, trachoma, refractive errors, corneal opacity, and the emerging diabetic eye diseases.
Operation Eyesight Universal commits to doing more sight-saving programs in Kanyama Township.
Our team of community health workers will help in identifying patients who need eye care and will also be providing public education on eye health.
Previously, the people of Kanyama used to travel long distances from here to hospital to seek eye services. Today I'm very delighted, happy to say this service is now in our home.
Lou Majila reporting for Zanis in Lusaka.
We now take a break and more news when we return. Stay tuned.
Life is a journey full of varied experiences. Can we reach our desired destiny? Can we achieve our desired goals? If yes, then how? Join Juliet Mutale on Thursday at 18:30 hours on How I Made It, a program that highlights various success stories from different personalities with different life experiences and backgrounds. Catch Zanis TV on Channel 6 DTT and Channel 458 DTH. Zanis TV, the People's Channel.
For news and current affairs, entertainment, sports, children's programs, and a host of other events in and beyond our borders, Zanis TV has you covered. On Channel 6 and Channel 458 on Topstar.
First Lady Mtinta Hijilema has commended the medical personnel in the country for their relentless efforts and commitment of taking care of patients. Mrs. Hijilema observes that health workers have not just been committed, but have been professional in their line of duty. The First Lady said this in Lusaka when she donated some food and cleaning materials to Levi Mwanawasa Medical University. Jen Smalumba was at the event and brought us this report.
How society treats vulnerable people is always the measure of its humanity. Vulnerable groups can vary across different contexts, but one common example includes those with health challenges. This is the reason First Lady Mtinta Hijilema today visited Levi Mwanawasa Medical University and donated assorted food and cleaning materials, among them bags of mealie meal, mattresses, cooking oil, bags of sugar, washing powder, and bathing soap, among others.
I must further thank all the health care professionals for their commitment to save the lives of our people. Your career is indeed a calling, as it requires personal sacrifice and commitment. We took time today to come and make a donation of some food items and cleaning detergents to this institution. Ladies and gentlemen, our contribution is meant to cushion the financial strength the hospital may be going through in running this institution and caring for our patients. We are committed to assist our communities at all times.
Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary for Administration, Professor Christopher Simonga, thanked the First Lady for the donation.
You realize that it's not a very old hospital, and being relatively a new facility, it has a number of challenges. But again, I would like to assure you, Madam First Lady, that the team of medical staff represented here are doing their level best to ensure that we are providing the best care possible.
This institution requires a lot of things. So whatever we receive from the mother, we say thank you, only because you know we are here. And we will be motivated to know that there is a mother somewhere, and therefore we have to do our very best.
Management at Levi Mwanawasa Medical University briefed the First Lady about the institution.
So the current bed capacity for the hospital is 1,000. This is the section of this part of the hospital. But I think the PS alluded also that soon we'll be opening the women and newborn. So we'll add another 250.
Later, Mrs. Hijilema visited one of the pediatric wards and interacted with the patients. Jane Simalumba Zanis in Lusaka.
We continue with the news. Katuba, Member of Parliament Mwabashike Nkulukusa, says government has plans to continue the construction of a clinic in Kabangwe area in Lusaka once the land is put on title. Mr. Nkulukusa said Once title is acquired for the land, the construction of the clinic will commence using the allocated Constituency Development Fund. Details in the following report.
Residents in Kabangwe have been facing challenges in accessing healthcare services in the area and are appealing to government for a clinic. Construction of a mini hospital in Kabangwe, Lusaka is set to begin pending the allocation of title deed for donated land. Kabangwe residents say they are facing challenges in accessing healthcare services as clinics and hospitals are located far away.
We are appealing to the government to work on this area, the clinic to be precise, so that members of the community will benefit from the facility that was donated to the community, and that will help us very much. The furthest clinic that we have as government clinic in the area is Shwankora, which is about 2.5 kilometers from here.
As a resident of Kabangwe Kingston, we are appealing to the government. At least they can help us with a clinic nearby, just with a place that has already been given out, so that at least we can be helped in terms of maybe, women, in terms of antenatal. We have schools around here, and I'm sure many schools don't have those inbuilt clinics.
Put a clinic here, we'll be very happy. Even the community will even develop, will even move forward. It will be our pleasure for us to have a clinic nearby, whereby we have no challenges, difficulties. It will be just our pleasure, whereby headache, you just go to the clinic nearby.
Katuba constituency member of parliament Mwabashike Nkulukusa says plans are underway to construct a clinic once the allocated land is titled.
The idea is, as we move with CDF, we try and see whether we can build a clinic there, but the land has to be titled because it was donated, and we don't want the owner to say he wants to get it back. I spoke to Mr. Muhango, who said the land is still donated and the council are free to put it under title so that whenever resources are available, we can put up the clinic. Okay. Otherwise, the plan for the clinic is still there for the land which was donated by Mr. Muhango.
Etambuyu Akakandelwa, Zanis in Lusaka.
And in Western Province, Sikongo Member of Parliament Mayungo Simushi is impressed with the manner in which the constituency development funds are being used in order to address developmental challenges in Congo District. Mr. Simushi says he is delighted that various developments are now taking place in the district, especially in infrastructure. Here are the details.
In the past, residents of Congo District have had to face several challenges to access quality healthcare services. Among these challenges include having to travel long distances and having to use dilapidated and unconducive health facilities such as this mother's shelter. To address these issues, through the use of constituency development funds, government has initiated various projects such as construction of health posts, maternity wings, mothers' shelters, as well as rehabilitation of dilapidated health infrastructure that will help promote quality healthcare service provision to the community of Congo.
And when we talk, we say CDF is a game changer. This is what we mean. Facilities that we never thought could ever be here in Congo. Today, we're able to see for ourselves the progress that we are making.
The projects are set to be completed before the end of this year, and once handed over, the face of Congo District to change for the better.
The tenure for this project is 4 months, but we want to finish this project within a time frame of 3.5 months. So we're actually working to make sure that we reach this target in the shortest possible time.
Government has also ensured that all health facilities have been stocked with all necessary health kits and drugs, which had been in short supply in the past few months.
On the drug situation, I may actually appreciate the current government, of course, through the office of our able minister. We have actually benefited some of the drug kits for essentials.
Once all these projects are commissioned and begin functioning, they will make it possible to increase on the number of healthcare services to be provided in Congo District. Zanis, Congo District,
Western Province.
And Choma District Commissioner Gamela Sigalea has reiterated government's commitment to investing in talent identification and development among youths in various sports disciplines. Mr. Sigalea says investing in the development of talent is another form of empowerment that can help reduce poverty among youths in communities. He said this when he visited youths from various districts from within the province who are camped in Choma under the Provincial Talent Identification Program in preparation for the Region 5 athletics competition scheduled for Namibia next year. Wakumelo Stali now gives us more in the following report.
They say failure to prepare is preparing to fail. That is why the Zambia Athletics Association ZA, in collaboration with the Southern Province Athletics Board, have started preparations for the Region 5 athletics competition to be held in Namibia next year. Southern Province pupils that performed well in schools' athletics competitions this year have camped at a ZA-adopted training site in Choma District.
The training is aimed at developing the athletes that we have in the province to try and identify talent and which we can develop for Region 5 game, which will be held in Namibia in December.
The young athletes want to use talent to improve their livelihood.
Talent, yendi talent boni ndime yako sports. So ndianda kuzumanana ekuzuza. Usikamane chendianda mu mwangu ndikatini yakijani.
Ndira kono akutrena kuli bambira competition ibola next year mu March. Nori ku Namibia. Competition ibola ku March we nori ku Namibia. Go yangu nyakuti 15 ndikabe number 1.
And Choma District Commissioner Gamela Sigalea reiterates government's commitment in developing talent in the country.
So sport in itself is a form of empowerment. The president, I think two years ago, when he graced the inter-company relay, talked highly about talent identification and talent development. Because talent do not only empower them, the athletes themselves, they also empower coaches and the administrators. So I think for us as government, we commend Southern Province Area Board and Chaskawore Sports for hosting this camping.
Wakumelo Stali, Zanis in Choma District, Southern Province.
The president of the Xinhua News Agency from China, Fu Hua, has arrived in Lusaka, Zambia for a one-day visit. Mr. Hua was received at the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport by Zanis Director Lois Saili and Chinese Embassy Deputy Chief of Mission Wang Sheng. In welcoming him, Mrs. Saili thanked Mr. Hua for visiting Zambia and hoped that his visit would be fruitful. She disclosed that Mr. Hua is tomorrow, Friday, 25th August 2023, scheduled to visit Zanis headquarters in Lusaka and is expected to make donation of equipment to the institution. And speaking through an interpreter, Mr. Hua said he is happy to visit Zambia and looked forward to enhanced collaboration with Zanis.
Mr. Zanis, nice to meet you. My name is Lois Saili, Director Zanis. Thank you.
Receiving him at Zanis tomorrow, so we are excited to host the president of Xinhua at Zanis tomorrow. So we look forward to the meeting and interaction with him tomorrow. We wish him a pleasant stay in Lusaka and in Zambia for the rest of the stay. We wish him well. Yeah, we wish him well, and he should enjoy Lusaka, and we hope that he will have a fruitful visit in Lusaka.
We now take our second break and more news on the other side. Stay tuned.
For news and current affairs, entertainment, sports, children's programs, and a host of other events in and beyond our borders, Zanis TV has you covered. On Channel 6 and Channel 458 on Topstar.
Hello, it's time for you to know your rights.
For ignorance of the law is no defense.
People should report any case of gender-based violence to the police. They should not be tempted to compromise the cases, because compromising a case of gender-based violence is actually an offense.
Zambia, like any other country, has got laws that govern the welfare of its citizens.
We provide some check, some oversight on the police service.
When an officer misconducts himself, he's alone. One person being beaten is enough for the commission to move. The Constitution tells us that the people of Zambia must enjoy their liberties.
Every week on Thursday at 19:30 hours, the Zambia News and Information Services, Zanis, brings to your screens a program dubbed Police and the Community.
If we, the police, and you, member of the public, will work together, because the common enemy we have before us is the criminal.
Catch Zanis TV on Channel 6 DTT and Channel 458 DTH. Zanis TV, the People's Channel. Life is a journey full of varied experiences. Can we reach our desired destiny? Can we achieve our desired goals? If yes, then how? Join Juliet Mutale on Thursday at 18:30 hours on How I Made It, a program that highlights various success stories from different personalities with different life experiences and backgrounds. Catch Zanis TV on Channel 6 DTT and Channel 458 DTH. Zanis TV, the People's Channel.
Welcome back. We continue with the news. The Southern Africa Development Community SADC has released over $1 million United States dollars to the Ministry of Health to support implementation of enhanced equal access to malaria services. Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary for Administration Collins Simonga says government has received over 1.1 million United States dollars through the regional grant to support implementation of malaria activities in 14 border districts of western and southern provinces. Zanis reports that Professor Simonga said the SADC Secretariat wants Zambia to use the money to fight malaria in 2 neighboring provinces along border areas. He said the National Malaria Elimination Program will use the money to support implementation of malaria matchbox in border towns of Zambia and Namibia as part of an approach to improve access to malaria services by underserved populations. Professor Simonga was speaking in Livingston when he officially opened the workshop for malaria focal point persons drawn from Siavonga, Chirundu, Sisheke and Livingston districts. And in Northwestern Province, Mwinilunga District Commissioner Harrison Kamuna says he is impressed with the work done so far on the Mtanda-Mwinilunga Road. Speaking in an exclusive interview with Zanis in Solwezi, Mr. Kamuna has praised President Hakainde Hichilema for instructing the Zambia National Service and the Road Development Agency to facelift the Mtanda-Mwinilunga Road. Mr. Kamuna said so far more than 300 kilometers has been worked on, with almost 100 kilometers remaining to complete the works. He said the road is now passable for any motor vehicle from Mwinilunga to Solwezi. As we continue with the news, the Department of National Guidance and Religious Affairs under the Office of the Vice President has called for the observance of national values and principles. National Guidance Assistant Director Godfrey Kaoma was in Northern Province to interact with traditional and church leaders on the actualization of the declaration of Zambia as a Christian nation and promotion of national values and principles. We have details in the following report.
Deviant behaviors like drug abuse, defilement and child marriages have continued to destroy communities in Zambia. And in its efforts to avert such vices, The Department of National Guidance, which is under the Office of the Vice President, was in Northern Province to sensitize and promote national values and principles. The team, led by Assistant Director in charge of National Guidance, Godfrey Kaoma, interacted with the clergy in Kasama District before proceeding to Chief Mukupaka Tandula and Chief Kaputa's palaces in Kaputa District to sensitize traditional leaders on the importance of upholding good morals.
Let's mainstream the Christian values in our way of life. The President talked about the need to uphold our national values as a country. I think the President has been emphasizing the aspect of hard work. And we can only appreciate hard work if we change our mindsets.
Principal National Guidance Officer Nero Musokoma sensitized the community members and headmen who gathered at Chief Kaputa's palace.
Ayama values ukwamba chitumo n'obusumu obwabamu tufuire twachinje emitontonka nshishe tuamba okutungirira abaana okuya ku skulu tuamba okutungirira abaana okulanda efisuma pa kyalo kyesu okuchita respect ama elders even n'abantu abale tusunga muno kyalo kyesu kya Zambia.
The traditional leaders appreciate the visit by the Department of National Guidance and Religious Affairs.
Tufuire twampana atotela sana pakutandala uko mwatandala nokuti mukanshe kuba mwine mushi bantu naine rubuli nakwata ulwakulishanya nabantu bandi nalasunga shanya abantu
kwena twalieshako ukufumiyako bana maye bamuku kufyuko nokubatwara ku skulu ronga kukisha pepa pene pachipango twalishangilisha kwa mukashana omoyo twafunyishe kuchupa ali alipushana grade 12.
Helen Bwalia for Zanis in Kaputa District, Northern Province.
In Muchinga Province, residents of Mpika District have praised the United Party for National Development for its progressive development policies since coming into office in 2021. Leonard Kayula has told Zanis that several areas of the country have witnessed a number of developmental projects being implemented in just 2 years of the UPND in office. And Mpika District Commissioner David Siami called on Mpika residents to rally behind the UPND administration if they want to see more development in the area. Details in the following report by Pamela Inambao.
As the UPND government is clocking 2 years in office this August, Mpika residents have expressed gratitude for the massive development recorded in the district and the country at large so far. The residents talked to in separate interviews says since the UPND government came to power in August 2021, a lot of developmental activities has since been taking place.
I
want to thank the UPND government for bringing peace in the country and for ensuring that even some rural areas, like here in Mpika, are now being developed using CDF. As marketeers, we are also operating freely without interference from the cadres. We have seen many people being deployed in various sectors, and also the increase in the social cash transfer has seen the vulnerable benefit. Others still have an appeal. We still appeal for better roads, especially the Great North Road from Sarenje to Chinsali, which is in a deplorable state. Meanwhile, Mpika District Commissioner David Siame has expressed gratitude to residents for appreciating what the UPND has so far implemented in the last 2 years.
There are quite a number of achievements that the new Don government has achieved since assuming office. There is a program maintaining our local roads, that the roads that have not been maintained for a very, very long time, at least they can see at least a grader grading through and maintaining the roads so that they are passable.
The UPND government will this week on Thursday, August 24th, 2023, mark 2 years in office since they were voted in power. Pamela Inamba reporting for Zanis in Mpika, Muchinga Province.
And finally, in the news, the church in Eastern Province has applauded government for the many achievements it has attained in the 2 years of being in power. The church has cited, among others, the enhanced Constituency Development Fund, free education policy, and the strong stance against Kadarism. This is according to submissions made to Eastern Province Minister Peter Piri in Chipata by representatives of church mother bodies. Abigail Kasweka now reports.
The church is a key stakeholder in the governance of the country. As such, this meeting between the church and the Eastern Province administration has provided a platform to discuss key matters affecting people in the region.
CDF, that one is a game changer. From 1.5 million to 28 million. It has assisted a lot of women in these cooperatives. The youths are receiving grants, the youths are receiving loans, and we can see the lives of our people is improving little by little. And it's a plus on this government. The high cost of living, I don't know how we are going to do it, but you are government. You need to do something. The minimum is too high.
Possibly some individuals have been wanting to get back to the old way of doing things, meaning getting the control back from the councils. And so again, it's a fight which possibly needs vigilance on the part of the incumbent government so that the gains are sustained. What we need is a conversation around the idea of party mobilization of resources so that the cadres don't seem to simply use or rely heavily on state resources without accountability.
More submissions were made.
As a church, we also have got a concern over the road that leads to Mami Mission Hospital. I think we've received a lot of promises, but implementation is not there.
The minister led his team in responding to the issues raised.
There are certain things that can be done under CDF. Like, for example, there are small roads and small crossing points that CDF can attend to, because we cannot solely wait from central government for things to move. It only takes those particular councils and the leaders within that, and you are part of the CDF also. Government has given us about 555 kilometers of feeder roads that is expected to be done either this year or next year, early next year after the rain seasons. And we have also prioritized the roads that you have mentioned, some of the roads that are critical that we have been talking about. They are part of the same 555 kilometers for Eastern Province. The fight against corruption continues. President Hakainde Hichilema has demonstrated that he means corruption fight. You've seen that some of his government people have been fired because of corrupt practices.
Abigail Kasweka, Zanis, in Chipata.
That item concludes Zanis News, but before we go away, let's take another look at the top stories in our news. President Hakainde Hichilema among BRICS group of nation leaders. Kanyama gets first ever eye clinic. Government to invest in talent identification. And UPND praised for progressive developmental policies. Thank you so much for watching the news. On behalf of the entire news production crew, my name is Henry Himonde. Remember, we are one Zambia, one nation. Until next time, it's goodbye.